You're listening to Leadership's Insights, Navigating Career and Life. I am Maggie Rombach, your host, bringing inspiring stories and practical advice on leadership, career development, and work-life balance. Hello, and welcome to Leadership's Insight, brought to you by Maggie's Mindset Mastery Academy. And today we have another inspiring leader with us, Stéphanie, and I'll give a word to you in a second. Just to say, I'm super excited to have you here. I'm always super excited. But anyway, because I feel like we both have a background in the private sector and you're up to some super exciting stuff linked to AI these days. I'm sure you'll be talking about that. So yes, with that, I just hand the word right to you, just to tell us a little bit what brought you here. What's your story?
Hi, Maggie. It's a pleasure to be here and to share my experiences and my stories with you in your podcast. But before I go and dive deeper into my career, let me just start by sharing what drives me. I'm really passionate about creating innovative solutions that truly matter, and also about accelerating their impact and having fun while I'm doing all of this. So this is what really drives me. And that's something that I didn't discover overnight. It came after spending more than 15 years in large corporates. So I had a career with Unilever, Novartis, GSK. I was even hired straight out of university. Before I had my diploma in my hands, I already had a contract. So there was no time for me to reflect and think about what is it that really matters in life for me. And over the years, when I climbed up the corporate ladder, I learned a tremendous amount about work. And these years were very, very formative. I gained experience in my field and expertise. I mastered collaboration. I learned how to navigate corporate politics, an important skill to have. But despite these opportunities, I often felt that I wasn't really moving the needle. And the solutions we worked on were not really satisfying to the extent that I wish I would them to be. So I took a leap of faith and became an entrepreneur. And of course, I didn't succeed immediately. I stumbled, learned along the way. I started various ideas before I settled for current business. Actually, I run two businesses today. One is specializing on innovation and strategy consulting, and the other one focuses on developing AI, cutting edge AI solutions. And together, I call them the Fresh Conglomerate, a name that reflects not only who we are, but also how we work with creativity, purpose, and forward-thinking mindset. And, it comes back to actually what I said in the beginning. So today, what I'm doing is really creating innovative solutions together with people around me, the team, clients, but mostly people, and through the AI, helping to accelerate their impact. And while we're doing this, having fun along the way.
That's awesome. Thanks so much. And I love it. The fresh conglomerate, think big. That's good. The other thing I'm realizing, and actually I might twist this podcast a bit to a slightly new angle in the coming year. I notice almost every leader I talk to, there is some career transition in it. People start off doing one thing and then at one point they do something else. And I think that's great. And it seems to be maybe just part of our journey these days. So with this, let's get into the questions and let's kick it out with the first one. And that's around values. So what are your top 3 guiding values, both in your career and in your personal life?
So one of the key values that drives me is curiosity. Curiosity pushes me to challenge the status quo and seek, diverse ideas, and also maybe find new solutions that nobody thought of before. Actually, I have this strong drive in myself to strive for more and always, looking for new ideas around me. But surprisingly, this wasn't a behavior that was valued a lot in my life and in my career. It's something that I was often, well, in fact, when you're curious, you ask a lot of questions, and these questions might feel a little bit too much for some people. So, the thing about ask the 5 whys. I don't know if you tried this interviewing practice before. After the third or fourth why, people start to get uncomfortable and annoyed at you, and it's exactly that sort of reactions that I would get when I demonstrated my curiosity, not only in business, but also in life, generally speaking. So it was something that was a bit shut down over the years, but I rediscovered it when through my children, because they are extremely curious, and it made me think. And it became also one of the core values of my life: remain curious, because it will help you stay young and still stay agile, and also have a rich and good life, intellectually and personally speaking. For the second value, let me just pull forward a quote from Seneca, I think it is, and I would let it sink in for a while after that. So the quote is, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult." So this quote is an expression of how I understand meaningful progress, whether personal or professional. Progress requires taking risks and stepping outside of your comfort zone. So my experience is actually that difficulties often arise not from the inherent nature of the tasks, but from our hesitation to tackle them. So fear and doubt can magnify challenges, making them look insurmountable. By taking action, we often discover that many of these challenges that were daunting are not as daunting as they really are. You may also know the saying that it feels impossible until it's actually done. And that actually explains one of the core values, a second of my core values in life and also in business. And it's a reminder to also maybe change our perceptions when we experience difficulties. The act of stepping forward with bravery can diminish obstacles in our path. So embracing action, even when the outcome is uncertain, makes it, easier to just go down that path. And I think the third value that I'd like to also mention here is around experiencing life to the fullest. You only live once, right? But that's not really what I mean. I don't mean, take the biggest risks now, because otherwise it's going to be too late. What I mean is, if you do it right, that one time that you have, once is just enough. Because by focusing on what truly matters and making the most of every moment, you can ensure your life will be rich and very rewarding. So I'm actually in favor of pursuing your passions, cherishing relationships, embracing new experiences. And I think that's what will make life a good life, and whether it's professional or personal.
That's great. So let me try to summarize this and you tell me if I nailed it. So the first one was curiosity. That was really straightforward. The second one, I was trying to bottom line it to a value, something about embracing action and bravery or combination.
Exactly. Daring action, maybe.
Daring action. I like that.
Yes.
Excellent. And the last one, I would just bottom line that to you value the present moment, period.
Exactly.
I mean, that's beautiful. Excellent. Great. Really deep. So here comes the next one, which is around accomplishments. So is there one accomplishment in your life that you're particularly proud of? And it could be anything. It could be private life. It could be work related. So is there one thing and why?
Well, I think my proudest accomplishment is building the Fresh conglomerate. So these are the two companies, Fresh Strategy and Fresh Solutions, which are focused on AI and also on strategy and innovation. But the journey to getting there wasn't actually about creating successful businesses. The real accomplishment behind this journey is about aligning my work and with my values and my purposes. So it requires quite a lot to become independent and leave the security of a well-paid corporate job. But I'm extremely happy with this decision, because by aligning my values with my business, everything, my whole life became so much more fun and easier. And, the success, I mentioned in the beginning that of course, I didn't succeed with the first venture, but I succeeded with those ventures. We now have big clients from governmental organizations to large corporates, and we have a very cool team to work with, and really enriched my life and intellectually and personally.
That's amazing. And I forgot to button line beforehand because fun you mentioned more than once. And what I also hear that now that you have the coherence with your values, that's where the fun comes in.
Exactly. And of course, you're independent or you're an entrepreneur, let's call it that. And as an entrepreneur, you work a lot, but you don't really count the hours. I don't experience it as hard work anymore. I experience work as being a source of energy and inspiration. Of course, not all tasks feel inspirational, like accounting maybe less so than other tasks, but I do experience work today as a source of energy as opposed to a source well, it would drain me. It doesn't drain me anymore.
Yeah, that's so nice. And you're a fresh conglomerate. For now, you have two. Let's see what the next fresh thing. Looking forward to seeing that.
Yep, me too.
So cool. So the next one is around hiring or promoting individuals. So what qualities matter most beyond purely technical skills?
I think what I look to find in people, generally speaking, is a positive attitude and optimism about life, about work, and also about other people. Now, in our specific situations, we're a small, agile team, and we are very diverse at the same time. So since we're very different, it requires at the very least tolerance, but we want to have fun with each other as well. So we need to go well beyond tolerance and see the good in our peers, in our humans first, and other humans first, as opposed to pointing out all the things that these people might have done wrong, or didn't deliver that on time, or showed up late for this, I don't know, meeting, whatever. We would focus, I like working with people who focus on the positive aspects of collaboration and other people. And that will be also fun and inspiring to work with. Then I like also people who are courageous. I like to look for courage in people. And this is not only, look, and courage, how do I define that? It's about taking action, doing things as opposed to just talking about it. Because it is hard to get started and do something. A lot of people get stuck in doing, I don't know, PowerPoints for weeks and weeks and weeks, as opposed to just go and do something in your with your clients and try something out. So I like working with people who are courageous and will take a leap of faith, and that will unleash opportunities. And of course, they will also do mistakes on the way. And then what else? Maybe what I can add to the list is people who are outcome focused. Any collaboration will have some frictions. But at the end of the day, we need to still be able to focus on the outcome of the things that we really want to get done, and getting them done despite the frictions. The frictions can come from other people on the team, can come in collaboration with clients, can come from, I don't know, external environments, uncertainties, something that doesn't quite work as it should.
And I can really see the alignment with your values. So how about curiosity? Is that something you're looking for in people?
Yes, I would be looking for curiosity in people as well. It aligns maybe with the first thing that I said. So people who are generally positive and optimistic about life and work, and also about other people, will have the tendency to also be curious about, how things work, and not just tolerant, but actually want to know and learn more about life and other people.
Yeah, that's great. So really positive attitude, courageous and taking actions, and outcome focused. It's so important. I feel like we tend to focus often on our technical skills, but actually these softer skills, they can really make the difference. So they're almost more important, if you will, in some ways.
In a small business, in a small team, that's what really counts, right? It's a good match between the individuals working in the team and not the functional skills. Of course, these skills are important. People need to be able to do their work and their job well. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a good match within the team, it will also hinder you to accomplish your work.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would also argue in big corporates, probably having the right technical skill, it's the absolute must to even be there. But then to really make it, that's where the other skills can make the difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. So here, an important one, and you talked a lot about fun and coherence and how much you prefer your life since you walked out of the big corporates. So I'm sure you'll like the next question. So this one is around your top tip for maintaining a work-life balance in today's fast-paced world.
Well, you're not going to be surprised. I think one of my top tips is to align your values and purpose with your work, because then you won't be thinking about work-life balance or work-life integration in the same way anymore. It will just become a very different type of um, of life, more generally speaking. And actually, I don't distinguish between work, family, whatever else there may be in my life anymore. It's just one integrated concept of life. And I have these various hats on and these various roles. And all together, it needs to work out somehow. I created my companies in the so-called rush hour of life, the life stage when kids and family needs collide a bit with professional ambitions, typically between the age of 30 and 50. And I'm not 50 yet, but almost. So I'm still in that phase of life. Logistically speaking, there can be challenges, and it's difficult to get everything done with the little amount of time that's available. But at the end of the day, it's also about being pragmatic about things. We don't have to be perfect. In fact, I observe many people around me that get stressed because they didn't tidy up the house, or the Christmas decorations are still not up, or whatever else. And one of the key questions that I ask myself in those situations, when I notice, I have some mental frames that stand in my way, ask myself, what if I didn't do this? What would be the worst thing that could happen? What would be the worst thing that could happen? And very often the answer is nothing will happen.
True.
Nothing that you can't easily manage. So first of all, let's be aware of how our own ambitions and mental frames might stand in our way. But also let's be pragmatic about what are the things that really need to be done and that really matter today.
Yeah. Yeah, so it really comes down to aligning your values with your work and life in broadly and to focus on what really matters. So I think that's really a great tip. Cool. So the next one is around one valuable lesson from private life, and you just said it's anyway all mixed together, so feel free to pick. But one valuable lessons, whether it's from parenthood or sports or music or whatever, that also helped you at work.
I think parenthood told me to embrace imperfections. Things never turn out as intended. So you may have the best plans, whatever. You may have the best plans in place, and things will always take a different turn. And it will never actually be as you designed it in the early stages. And also, embracing imperfections for me means that yes, you just need to work with what is there, the resources that you have, the yes, everything. It can never be really perfect. So I hope that helps.
Parenthood, yes, that's a big life lesson. So, so here that's the last one of this first section, and it's around a significant role model. So, who would be somebody you really aspire to, who guided you your way, and so what makes them your role model?
Difficult one. So I was first looking for big names, but actually, if I think about it a little bit more, I think it's actually my two sons are the biggest role models in my life. They're very, very different from each other. My first son is extremely curious, and observing him still now, he's almost 17, he would, wander through life with big, wide open eyes and see things that I don't see, and just makes him, he's my role model because he also just takes life as it comes and asks a lot of questions. So recently he saw bees outside, bees, the animals, and then he started observing them, and I started observing them a very long time and came back with key insights about those bees, and that really
Amazing.
really impressed me. Right, as adults, we need to remind ourselves very often that this childish or spirit that we had in early childhood is something that will make our life much, much richer. Now, my next son inspires me because he's extremely positive. He's had a lot of health issues, accidents, and other issues in his life. And every time he comes across an issue, he just says, okay, it is what it is. Let's make the best of it. And I'm not going to get depressed, and I'm not going to get frustrated about that. Generally speaking, that's his attitude, and he demonstrates it every day with his fresh and cheerful spirits around the house. He would cheer up everyone.
That's amazing. It's yeah, so true. And that if he already has that as a kid now, and he's a bit younger, right? So he's not even an adult yet. That will like resilience he'll have in his life. That should be really fantastic skill to have.
Yeah, he's 14 now. So it's still at his teenager years. He has teenager years where he is actually happy with life most of the time because of his attitude.
Yeah. Wow. Excellent. So thanks so much, Steph. That was the first chunk of deep questions. So now comes the even more fun part, which is the quick fire burst. So the way it works is I'll shoot a question at you and I challenge you to answer with one word. It's not always
One word.
possible,
Okay.
but the idea is to kind of really keep it to the point as much as possible. Ready to go?
Yes.
Let's rock. So please describe your leadership style in one word.
Collaborative.
What is the key to successful teamwork?
Trust, tolerance, and fun.
Trust, tolerance, and fun. Great. One must-read book.
One of the books that I really liked. It's an easy read. It's called Unstuck by
Ah,
Keith Yamashita and Sandra Spataro, something like that.
that sounds good. I have to get that. I haven't read that one yet. What type of dream job would you love to do if not your current one? That might be tricky because it sounds like you're already doing your dream job. But yeah, any other job you could
Explorer.
do? Explorer.
Explorer in various areas of life, and yes,
Nice.
not just in innovation and strategy, but also and AI, but also in
Like
other
Indiana
areas of life.
Jones kind of
Oh
exploring.
yes, absolutely.
I come join you. That sounds great. So if you could have one superpower, like, I don't know, to fly or to look through walls, what would be your preferred superpower?
My superpower, I think, would be to see the world differently, like shifting perspectives. Would be the superpower that I'd like to apply or help others to apply, and also for myself, having the ability, strengthening the ability to shift perspectives very quickly and easily and seeing the world from various angles.
Nice. So you could also do like abracadabra and put it on others. They could see it too.
Exactly.
It's nice.
Exactly. And they would look at their life, if life doesn't look good, you can just go abracadabra, and then they'll see it
Differently.
from a different perspective, and then suddenly you see it in a different light.
Great. That's a cool skill. So here's the last one of this chunk, because there's yet one very last one to come. What are you most grateful for?
I think the people who believed in me when I doubted about myself and life. in general.
Great. That's so important. Excellent. That was fantastic. That was fun too. So as we wrap this up, as a parting thought, what would be your career advice to your 18-year-old self, or really just anybody just starting out their professional journey?
I think we are in. So I'm not going to talk about my 18-year-old self, right? It's more about now and looking forward and the future. So if I look at my sons, though, I would tell them that at the moment, a lot of things are changing. Disruptive times are ahead of us. It's not just technologically speaking, but also geopolitically, things are changing. So I think two skills will be very, very important for them to master. The first one will be creative problem solver. So using the tools at hand, using the information at hand, and find ways to resolve whatever problem you may have, be it personal or in business, that are creative. And next is critical thinking. I think today we are faced with the AI, for instance, that delivers information to us very, very easily. And sometimes it's extremely difficult to distinguish between what's right and wrong, the fake news. That's one aspect of critical thinking. But the other aspect of critical thinking is also, make up your own opinions. Take the information out there and draw your own conclusions. Don't let others draw them for you. These are, I think, the two tips I would give to an 18-year-old today.
That's great. Thank you very much for sharing. And it did make me think about these famous 21st century skills, which are all these C's, including critical thinking and curiosity.
Oh, I don't know those. Okay.
I think there are 5. It's like curiosity, critical thinking, communication, collaboration, I think, and another C. So indeed, I think those are really important going forward. So Steph, that was fantastic. Thanks so much for taking the time. Very rich. So yeah, thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you, Maggie. Thanks for the opportunity to have this conversation with you today.
Cool. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Leadership Insights, Navigating Career and Life. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, keep leading authentically with your heart and mind.